evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Bolingbrook Village Board order. To lead us in the pledge tonight, I'd like to ask Dan Bing, Troop 34, working on his Eagle Scout Award. I'd like to ask him to lead us in the pledge of the flag. Dan?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Claire.
Here.
Trustee Zarate.
Here.
Trustee Lawler.
Here.
Trustee Watt.
Here.
Trustee Hoagland.
Here.
Trustee Morales.
Here.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Here.
Next, approval of minutes of the regular meeting of March 12th. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion trustee Brado, second trustee Watts. Questions or comments? Corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Approve the agenda. Mr. Bowen.
Yeah, there are no changes or amendments this evening.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion of trustee Lawler, second of trustee Hoagland. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Appointments to boards and commissions. We have an appointment this evening of Michael Shea, the Zoning Board of Appeals Commission, and Abdul Vianney, also to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Is there a motion to approve those appointments?
So moved.
Second.
Motion of trustee Watt, second of trustee Hoagland. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The appointments are approved. Reports of officers. By the way, I forgot to mention, Daniel's here tonight working on his communication merit badge, which is one of 21. 21 is the minimum, correct? Merit badges for the rank of Eagle? Yes. Okay, thank you. That's one of them. Valley View Educational Richmond Foundation Day coming up. Michael Lawler, would you please join me? Mike has been president of the Valley View Educational Richmond Foundation for how many years?
I've been on founding member of the board for 24 years, and president, I lost track because they keep probably 15 years.
Long time.
I keep offering to step down, and they keep denying me.
Good. Valley View Educational Richmond Foundation Day, March 29th, this Friday night. Whereas our children are our most important product, and their future is greatly dependent on the education they receive, and whereas the strength of our community is increasingly dependent upon the quality of the educational system and the schools, given the limited revenue resources, they can only do so much without additional financial assistance and support from the community. Now, whereas the Valley View Educational Richmond Foundation has been formed by business community leaders and answered this need and has funded 935 grant requests worth $1.6 million in the first 23 years to the schools of the Valley View School District 365U. And whereas the foundation will hold its 24th annual fundraising dinner, Derby Days, on Friday, March 29, 2019, at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Now, therefore, I, Roger C. Clare, Mayor of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Bolingbrook, will and DuPage County, Illinois, do hereby declare that March 29, 2019 is designated as Valley View Educational Enrichment Day in the Village of Bolingbrook, and urge the citizens of our community to encourage everyone to support the Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation and attend the fundraising dinner on March 29, 2019. I was reading, I was thinking back 24 years ago, I wasn't, Dick Cavanaugh, president of the Valley View School Board then?
He was.
He's with us tonight in his other role as a practicing attorney. Anyway, also I saw Jerry Hicks, president of the Park Districts, with us tonight too. Good to see you, Jerry. Anyway, it's a long time.
It is.
One of the original members that founded it was Madeline Jasuski.
Yes, she started it with assistance from the superintendent at the time.
I think there was one other woman involved in helping planning that.
One other woman in the Madeline's living room that night in November of '94 was Patricia Clare, Dr. Patricia Clare.
Yes, okay, I've got that out of you. Okay.
And she did a lot to set the foundation for the foundation in getting the community involved and encouraging support for the kids. So,
Well, anyway, I'm going to ask Mike if he wants to say a few words. I know he does. There you
thank
go.
you. Thank you,
Okay.
Roger. This is we have turned this into a really fun event. We changed the theme every year. Last year we did college days, and we invited people to come out and wear what they wore in college, whether it fit them or not, and we got some really interesting solutions or outfits. This year it's Kentucky Derby Days, so come out in your favorite Derby attire, and we are giving prizes for the best attire. And we've got several surprises for the night, fun surprises that are going to be really enjoyable. We'll explain that night. So it's a great event. This year, just to give you a heads up of what we're trying to reach, we had 79 grant requests, the most that we've had in a long time, from the teachers and administrators in the schools asking for $98,000. So if you want to give us $98,000 before Friday, we'll be in good shape. So, but thank you for the recognition, and look forward to seeing you. You can go buy tickets online at vveef.org and click on the Give Smart button.
I was thinking about dressing as a jockey. What do you think?
I think it'd be great. You took away my costume, but I appreciate it.
No.
I'll have to find something different now.
The horses would all quit.
Well, it's the fear factor, and motivation. Thank you.
All right. Enough of that. Thank you, Mike. Next, Zoning Board of Appeals Commission, new appointments. I'd like to swear those appointments in. They're both on the ZBA, so I'll be doing this together. I'd like to ask Michael Shea to join me first, if you would, please. Michael Shea, where does it say it? Somewhere here. Oh, got the family, okay. And where's it supposed to be a number of years you're a resident? I'm not seeing it.
I moved here in 2003.
2003, so 16 years. All right, would you like to introduce your family?
Certainly. Hello, this is my son Michael
Hi.
and my wife Marguerite.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome. Michael's employed by Will County. He's an IT director. I'm beginning to think that half the world works and the other half is at IT now. Is that pretty much it? Oh, here it is, 16-year resident. Graduate of Indiana University with a degree in chemistry. That's a bit of a stretch to be an IT director from chemistry, but having taken a course in chemistry, I can see why you chose to go somewhere else. And been involved in the Bolingbrook Soccer Club.
That is correct.
You play soccer?
A little.
You probably play soccer. Yeah, okay. All right. And then come on up, Abdul Viani. Abdul is a member now of the Beautification Commission. And in having a conversation with Abdul, we decided that, you got family here too? Good.
Family.
Well, okay, would you like to introduce the family members with you?
Yeah, this is my younger son, Naveed,
Hello.
and my older son, Zahir.
Hey, how's it going?
He's going into the Benedictine medical field, and he's in JJC going into the IT field. And that's my wife, Seema.
That's it. One's going one way, the other's IT.
Hello.
And that's my the youngest daughter, Liza.
Hi.
Well, step up here.
She's in high school.
Step up, there's room. All right, Abdul went to Karachi University. Bachelor of Science degree in Commerce. He now has the Ezon Wireless store on Route 53 in front of Walmart. So if you have a problem with your phone, they replace the cracked glass if you have that. Having been there myself, member of the Association of Pakistani Americans. And I like the way he summed this up. He said, I live here, my kids go to school here, and I want to help this community. So Zoning Board of Appeals is an interesting place to start. That's get to deal with some tricky issues. People that didn't follow the rules and beg forgiveness. That's what attorneys take care of, right? All right, this is kind of awkward here because I was going to swear you in together. Well, but why don't you jump over here?
Everybody's here.
All right. If you would, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Michael Shea,
You solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the municipal code of the Village of Bolingbrook.
the municipal code of the Village of Bolingbrook.
I will faithfully discharge my duties
I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals
as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
in a manner prescribed by law.
in a manner prescribed by law.
Okay, welcome aboard. your official commission. And here's your official commission on the ZBA. And both your sport coats need one of these coveted Bolingbrook pins. Thank you, sir. Again, welcome aboard. Nice handshake. Yep. Abdul, thanks for coming out tonight. Next, we have a public hearing, and I'll just stay down here for the public hearing.
Hey, Mayor. Clarence Henderson. Henderson. Clarence.
Oh, good point. Yes. Well, before we go to the public hearing, this past Sunday, Bolingbrook was honored to have a very interesting individual come to Bolingbrook. And when I first saw the blurb that he was coming here, I was really kind of stunned by it because it's a piece of history that, quite honestly, many people today have no knowledge of other than they hear about it in a movie or they hear about it from their parents and so forth. But in January of 1960, which is a long time ago to many of you, not such a long time ago to you, is it, Jerry? Anyway, there was an event, a brunch held at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, and this gentleman came to see us and spoke to us and put together a very moving, from the heart, compassionate speech about what he experienced, not only as a young man prior to this 1960 event, the 1960 event itself, and then he gave us some comments about how he felt the country was today and where it was headed. Anyway, it was truly a delight to have him in Bolingbrook. In fact, it reminded me that we are going to put together a list of the notables, people of that ilk, that caliber that have come to Bolingbrook, and memorialize that in some way, shape, or form at the golf club, because we have had some very impressive individuals there over the years. People that you read about in newspapers, some of them almost daily. For example, Barack Obama was at Bolingbrook Golf Club. Not as president, but as senator. He was still there. We've had other people of the same ilk that have been there, and Rudy Giuliani was at the club. I could go on and on and on, and tons of sports stars, because sports stars like to play golf. Smokey Robinson, been there several times. And as a kid growing up in the 60s myself, well, I started in the 50s. Well, actually, I started in the 40s. But as a kid in the 60s, Smokey Robinson was it. I mean, we all know Smokey Robinson, a very household name. And so to sit and talk with Smokey Robinson several occasions in several years was a hit, kind of a hoot. And some of the sports stars, you know, the list is on and on. So we're going to put all those down, and Clarence Henderson will be on that list. And I asked Sheldon Watts, Trustee Sheldon Watts, if he'd like to comment a bit, and we have a picture of Clarence we're going to show here in a moment. That's Clarence Henderson. I got an autographed picture from him, and that picture will be framed and be hung out here in the halls at Village Hall. In fact, we may be hanging one at the golf course, too. But give us your perspective, Sheldon.
So I'd be glad to do that, Mayor. What an honor it was to meet the renowned civil rights leader, Clarence Henderson, this weekend at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Mr. Henderson, who was a 1960 Greensboro, North Carolina Woolworth sit-in participant, eloquently shared words of wisdom and inspiration. It was a moving experience to hear him speak, and really it reinforced the understanding that we stand on the shoulders of heroes like Mr. Henderson, who risked really everything for the betterment of our society. He, along with 3 other gentlemen that were there that day, they were on the forefront of the civil rights battle as they bravely stepped up to participate in the sit-in. Today, Mr. Henderson is living his life journey as a teacher, a college administrator, an entrepreneur, and a motivational speaker, which has given him a unique perspective on what confronts society today. While his life is chronicled with episodes of civil unrest, in which he found himself thrust in the midst, he did do his part to bring awareness and change in a peaceful manner. Clarence now champions a new cause for a better America by challenging, motivating, and inspiring others to be aware and responsible for the world that surrounds them. We extend our sincere gratitude for all that Mr. Henderson has done over the years, and we thank him for taking time to visit us here in Bolingbrook. Thank you.
You mentioned he was president of the Frederick Douglass Foundation?
He is the president of the Frederick Douglass Foundation.
Interesting
That is
man.
correct.
Interesting man. And again, it was a treat to sit next to him and enjoy the brunch together. Okay, thank you. Sheldon, can you put the picture back up, please, Jim? You can't blow it up. In the bottom of the picture, there's you see his signature. Next to his signature is a picture of the counter in North Carolina where he and 4 other people sat down. He's on the far right, and I realize you can't necessarily see that on TV, but I'm glad he incorporated that picture into his picture, so it kind of explains the full circle of his history in the civil rights movement.
Yeah, Mayor, just to clarify what was going on there, blacks were not allowed to eat at Woolworths. They were not served. They could get carry-out food, but they were not allowed to sit down and eat at the lunch counter.
Right.
So there were protest stage sit-ins, not protests, sit-ins staged around the country to drive the point home and drive for equality. So I wanted to make sure that point was understood.
Yeah. So they
Well-
were risking being jailed, beaten,
Killed.
killed, you know.
Well, and taking that a step further, there's a movie that's out now. It's been out for a couple of months called The Green Book,
Yep.
which I went to see, and it's fascinating. And if you're below the age of 50, I'd highly recommend you see it because you really won't believe it. It's actually part of it's a lot of humor in the way the interaction goes, but it's really an indictment on the way the country was in. As I said, at World War, they could not sit at the counter. You had to go to a colored bathroom. You couldn't stay in certain hotels. In the Green Book, the driver for this pianist, professional pianist that's traveling through the South to perform, the driver would stay in one hotel and he'd drop the pianist off at another hotel, and I can assure you can imagine that other hotel was not the best. So it's well worth seeing. I recommend The Green Book. All right, back to our agenda, the public hearing. Public hearing this evening is the annexation of 106.275 acres of unincorporated property located west of Veterans Parkway, north of I-55 and Wyndham Parkway extended, and south of Remington Boulevard. So I'll make it easier for you if you're trying to picture where that is. You all know where Brammore's is. Now, Beggar's Pizza. It's across the street and a little south of there. And I don't have pictures of the development night. They were shown in the Plan Commission, but the purchaser of the property, Crow Holdings, I think has done an extraordinary job in developing that into it's going to be a beautiful business park. And we have with us Matt Cruz tonight from Crow Holdings. So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to ask Matt to come up and talk a bit about it too.
Mayor, we need to open the public hearing.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Lawler, seconded trustee
Hoagland.
Hoagland. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Public hearing is officially open. The Lambert Farm, again, consists of 106.275 acres of property. It's the last large tract of vacant unincorporated property within the village planning area. So this is the last business park Bolingbrook will see developed. We have boundary agreements with all of our neighboring communities, so we're landlocked in that respect. This 160-acre parcel has been eyed by developers for 15 or 20 years, and it became available in the market a year or so ago, and Crow Holdings was a successful purchaser of that property. The thing that even makes it more interesting from my perspective, as a new mayor years ago, before we had any business parks, south of 55 on a parcel of land which was in the Bolingbrook planning area based upon a boundary agreement created with Romeo and Bolingbrook, a group wanted to buy some land along Crossroads Parkway and develop a business park. That group was called Trammell Crow. Trammell Crow, who I frankly thought Trammell Crow was the name of a law firm, but that's the gentleman's first name, Trammell, last name is Crow, based in Texas. And they purchased some land along I-55, and a guy named Mark Sabers, who I've not seen in 30, 25 years, came in and we worked long and hard and got that business park going. So my point in that is, the first business park developer in Bolingbrook was Trammell Crow. Trammell Crow now runs under the name of Crow Holdings, is also the last business park development. Well, it's kind of, there's some irony there. I'm not sure how that all worked out, but it's an interesting story, and it's something I'll remember for a very long time. So they're the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega. What the, Anyway, the heirs of the Lambert sisters have entered into a sales agreement with Crow Holdings. The parties have petitioned the village to annex the property zoned at I-1, limited industrial. The proposed annexation agreement calls for the developer to pay property taxes, to pay property owners to the north, Remington veterans, a recapture fee of $118,725.51, plus 5% interest for burying the power lines which border the property. There's a road that runs behind a building at the corner of Veterans and Remington. When they built that building, behind it were 5 utility poles that were put there because originally the road ran at that angle. When the road was relocated, those poles remained. We don't like overhead lines. We don't like, they're not aesthetically pleasing, and they're not as reliable as buried lines and storms and so forth, car accidents, what have you. So we required the building on the corner to put those lines underground. And we required the people that built that building with Multi Capital, we required them to pay 100% of the undergrounding costs. But we agreed to put a recapture fee on that, meaning whoever bought the Lambert farm would reimburse Multi Capital the other half of the cost of undergrounding. So that's what I described, $118,725.51. We didn't forget a penny. They agreed to pay the village $10,600 for E911 service line charges, which is pretty standard. Pay the village $10,600 for emergency warning devices. By the way, I see that a couple of communities now have dropped emergency warning sirens. They're suggesting they're no longer as effective, that it's 40-year-old technology, and that villages should get out of the siren business and go to radios in all people's homes. Interesting move. We're not in that position yet, but I see that's happening in other places in the country. They also agreed to reimburse the village any expenses associated with the annex agreement, and not to exceed $5,000. They've agreed to extend Wyndham Parkway through the property, installing a traffic signal at the new intersection of Wyndham and Veterans Parkway. Approval of 2 development concept plans. Plan A contains 1,327,200 square feet of industrial buildings. Plan B consists of 1,049,280 square foot buildings. Approve the list of variances necessary to implement one of the 2 concept plans. The agreement runs for the property for 20 years. Approval of final plats of subdivision. Developer plans to close on the property within 60. I think that's done. Right? You closed. No, I haven't closed? Oh, it's based on tonight's action? The Lambert heirs are here tonight to make sure it closes. Will we be a party tomorrow night? All village fees, costs, and charges are in effect at the time of the application development will be paid. So that's what this public hearing is about. Is there anyone here this evening who would like to comment on this public hearing? Anyone like to address this board on the issues involved in this public hearing? Seeing none, I would like to ask Matt Cruz to come up, if he would, please. And you can tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Cruz. I lead the Crow family operations for Crow Holding Industrial in Chicago. Opened up the office beginning of 18. Prior to that, I was with IDI and with Opus. An interesting note, I was the guy that actually rerouted 115th Street with Jeff Smith
So,
way back when, so,
you're coming back to haunt you.
I know. I gotta pay for it again.
That's the street that was relocated, required 5 poles got done.
I blame that on Jeff Smith, though. I was only 26 at the time. No, we're absolutely honored to have been the selected buyer. Family members that are here, we're lined up, ready to proceed to closing. Diamond Realty Investments out of Dallas is our equity partner. We outbid 16, if I have the number correctly, 16 other bidders for the site. And as Mayor pointed out, Trammell Crow is my boss's father. He passed, unfortunately, in '09. This is his son, Harlan Crow. But the family business lives on, and to hear it started in Bolingbrook in 1988, and now 31 years later, we're going to wrap it up, is fantastic, and we couldn't be more excited. It is our trophy asset in Chicago, and as such, we're spending money, more so, I think, than we normally would to make this thing attractive, fit in with what the village of Bolingbrook expects out of its developers, frankly, now. Better looking buildings, concrete pavement, more expensive or more pronounced landscaping, berming, that sort of thing.
A lot of trees.
A lot of trees. We made special point to not show mature trees in the renderings. I guess I learned my lesson a few years ago, showing trees 10 years after they were planted.
Yeah, the game is sometimes they'll come in, it's going to be all treed, and there's these trees are 30 feet high surrounding the building, and then, of course, they plant them, and they're 8 foot high, or not 8, 15, 16.
And there will be a couple of fountains along Veterans. So I think that it's critical as Weber Road gets underway here that wind now will extend through at a signalized intersection to allow some of that traffic to escape and frankly get down to Crossroads, get back to Route 53, Joliet Road, wherever people are going. It's going to be a struggle for a couple of years. I think everybody recognizes that. When we get through to the other side, it's going to be fantastic. But getting there, this will allow another backdoor route to get people in and about town, which is nice.
You mentioned the concrete pads, which is unusual. Normally it's asphalt. Concrete is probably a little pricier,
Yes.
but there's another advantage to having concrete. How many buildings?
4 buildings. We're going to go forward on all 4 at once. Just as construction dictates, those will be delivered starting January of 2020, and then every month there till about April or May of 20. So it'll proceed from south to north. The reason we're doing that is to get Wyndham open this year is our goal. We've obviously got to get things done before the asphalt plants close for the winter, which is typically around Thanksgiving. But barring, this type of spring
Well, it's concrete,
isn't
what
good.
difference does it make about asphalt?
The site, but Wyndham Parkway.
Oh, the road.
The road.
Yes, the
We
road.
need to get the road open. So
You can make that concrete too if you like.
talk to that guy over there.
Such an offer.
I would like to point out Arco Murray Design Build is here, a couple of representatives, Lee Stalakis and Dave Crystal. They'll be building the project for us. They've been great to work with, have experience here in town. We're excited to get there all together. And I'd be guilty to not mention that these 2 guys came up with the idea that allowed us to actually be the selected buyer of the site, to create a stormwater. They viewed it from an outside the box viewpoint to allow the development of the site to occur in a way that allowed us to pay more.
And what's the name of the development?
Veterans Point, Bolingbrook. So we wanted to honor Veterans Boulevard, the veterans within the community. We didn't want to make it too military focused, recognizing there are likely to be a couple of foreign tenants, at least possible tenants. But we thought that it was a good homage to the veterans in town and across the country.
On Veterans Parkway.
And then one subtle detail that I'm not sure if you noticed, but with Texas roots, both for the Crow family, for our equity partner, the Texas Star is also used quite a lot by the U.S. military. So there is a Texas Star or U.S. military star subtly right there in the logo.
Well, another idea they came up with, it's not unique, but it's not as common as we might think. When you enter the park, they've got a great circulation pattern of the vehicles, cars, and trucks will be coming out. But the way you're going to decide where you go when you come into the park.
We came in without a broker here, and Ed Jarrett and Dick Kavanaugh, who represent the family, didn't have a broker either when they sold it. And so we got the benefit of interviewing several different leasing teams, the top within this I-55 market. One thing that was loud and clear is industrial developers really aren't good at putting signage up. And I think when I try to find a business, or if I'm trying to go to an office building, you can never see the sign, I think exactly what they're talking about. So we need upscale signs that clearly dictate where people should go, how to find the buildings. We're going to color code them and get people easily to buildings and use lights so people can see it at night, because it gets dark at 4:30 for a good 2 months, 3 months a year.
And the numbers of the buildings will be
Yes, sir.
backlit up in the upper portion, so.
That's right. That's right.
And then there's another piece of property that you've offered to the village. Again, when roads are realigned and roads are built, sometimes there's odd pieces left over.
There is a small triangular piece on the east side of Veterans, so it would be at the, I guess if you're looking at this track, the northeast corner. But again, half an acre on the east side of Veterans. It's of no use to us. Prologis is the owner of the building that this particular parcel abuts. There's great challenges. There's mature trees. It doesn't work there for them. I thought it'd be wonderful to give to the village to do something with memorials. There's a lot of, just in the lobby here, there's a lot of memorials to our servicemen and women, and it'd be wonderful if we could give that to the village and start something there.
And I've already told it, we'll take it, and that'll give the veteran community in Bolingbrook a chance to come up with some ideas. So as you come up Veterans Parkway from Romeoville, you'll see that as part of our interest.
And we would like to make a donation to kick off those efforts.
I was counting on that.
So, it might be, but
A lot of zeros, I think.
better talk to my boss, not me. I don't have that many zeros.
But they also talked about the fountains. So if you see a lot of fountains around Bolingbrook, I push fountains in all the developments, Fountain Square and so forth. One, they're very attractive, and two, they're great environmentally to keep that water circulating as you get into the July and August months when everything kind of stagnates. So they're going to have fountains in the ponds on Rich Street. We also, they've set the whole thing up so as you drive by, you will not see the back end of semi trucks like you see in a lot of industrial parks in Chicagoland and certainly in Will County. Everything's positioned so you'll see the buildings, you'll see glass, you'll see the beautiful signage, and it's going to. I wish I had the picture. It's very, very attractive. And I don't know how many trees you're planting, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And the nice thing too is we back up right to that big wetland bank. So you've got a lot of green space around this development. And I think the closest residential neighborhood is a mile away. And so truly an uninvasive business park development here in terms of impact to residents.
Years ago, when you went south on Veterans, there was a frontage road system where you could get on frontage road and go over to 55 or 53. The state of Illinois basically abandoned the frontage road system. And because they abandoned it, they just let it deteriorate to the point it needed a lot of investment. So we have basically eliminated part of that frontage road system. And it's been gone now for several years on both sides of Veterans. So what we did is we put in Wyndham Parkway. It's been on the books for years to extend Veterans Park or Wyndham Parkway from, what's the printer?
R.R. Donnelly?
R.R. Donnelly building. That's where it basically dead ends. That will be extended through their park up to Veterans. And you'll be able to get on that road and go over to Weber Road, as was mentioned. The Weber Road issue is going to be problematic for 2 years. There's no avoiding it. We wished we could have done it years ago, but the state's very slow to approve things. But construction has started. Utilities are being relocated as we speak. That's why the temporary signals have been put up at Rodeo and Remington and Weber. It's all part of relocating the utilities, and the construction should start this year, this summer. But it's going to be a 2-year build. Some say it may even go into 3 years, but the 3 years will probably be landscaping and the finishing touches. Hopefully it'll be open but it's going to be tough. There's no question. There's not a lot of good alternatives. Questions of the board?
Covered a lot.
Covered a lot. Well, Matt, thank you. All
Thank you
right.
for the opportunity.
And again, remembering back when Trammell Crow first came here. At that point in time, the village of Bolingbrook had 115,000 square foot of industrial building and a handful of jobs in 115,000. This project, when it's built out, will take us to about 34 million square feet of building. And they don't get tax break. There's no tax break here. It's a silly season with elections. The people are campaigning, say we got to quit giving tax breaks to WeatherTech. WeatherTech's never got a dime in incentives. What's more important, they've never asked for a dime. We have quality developers here now. They don't want tax break because they want fine schools for their employees. They want good police services, fire protection services, and staff. So the quality people we've had in this town, and IDI, Opus, and of course now Crow Holdings and formerly Trammell Crow, that's the quality we have. So it's very, I got fellow mayors that would kill to have what we have on Remington Boulevard and Crossroads Parkway. And this is going to be a great addition. So again, thank you, Crow Holdings. Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Motion trustee Hogan, second trustee Zarate. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes. Next, the bill approval, Exhibit A, $1,045,424, excuse me, and 59 cents. Bill listing B, $298,664.67, a total of $1,344,089.26. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Motion trustee Morales, second trustee Mercerate. Questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes. Tax receipts. December 2018 state income tax, $732,324.57, corresponding to a year ago, of $807,003.97, or a 9.25% decrease. January sales tax, $3,332,830.31, corresponding to a year ago, $3,661,903.71, or a 9% decrease. The first decrease we've experienced in a bit. January 2019 motor fuel tax, $144,768.60, corresponding to a year ago, $143,792.36, or a 0.7% increase. And we always report the state of Illinois, through their greed for money, started taking money from us from the state sales tax distribution, something they did for 50 years for nothing. They decided they start charging us a handling fee, and the handling fee for that sales tax figure I gave you is $27,081.89. So about $25,000 a month they take back now that we used to be able to have. That's unfortunate. And again, mention that sales tax figure. What's our budget this year, sales tax, Rosa?
I believe it's about 32 million.
$32 million in sales tax receipts from our retail community. And that's not just this brick and mortar storefront. That includes WeatherTech, for example, who sell floor mats and charge sales tax all over the country. When I came into office, that figure was 600,000. Now it's 33 million, 33 million. Okay, our first resolution this evening. Resolution approving a ComEd invoice to relocate utility lines underground along Rodeo Drive between Dalton Lane and Kings Road. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Watts, second of trustee Lawler. In conjunction with the development of the Carlo Corporate Center West, formerly the Kelly Farm, which is on the south side of Rodeo Drive, is being expanded to 4 lanes from Dalton Lane West to the new roundabout at King and Rodeo. In order for the road to be widened, the power lines must be relocated. This resolution authorizes ComEd to relocate and bury the current overhead lines. The cost is $660,000. 50% is due at the contract signing, and the other half upon completion. Per the annexation agreement, Northern Builders will reimburse the village for this cost. They will also be building the road. So Rodeo Drive, which is 4-lane coming off Weber to Dalton, where it becomes back to 2 lanes, that will be expanded to 4 lanes over to King Road, where Fire Station 5 is located, as well as the Bolingbrook Golf Club. And the April letting of IDOT, there will be a bid let for the roundabout. We're going to have a roundabout at King and Rodeo. And there's already a contract in place to build King Road from Rodeo north to Hassert. So we'll have another north-south road from Hassert all the way to Mountain Road, which has been needed for quite some time. Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
And as I said earlier, with the Crow Holdings and the other developments, they pay for the undergrounding. That's in case what's happened here. Northern Builders is paying for the undergrounding in this situation. Our next resolution is approving a comment of work for a relocation of overhead electric lines on Boughton Road from Barber's Corners to Falcon Ridge Way. This is another undergrounding. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Morales, second by Trustee Zarate. This resolution authorizes ComEd to relocate and bury over power lines along the south side of Boughton Road from Barber's Corners east to Falcon Ridge Way. This will complete the undergrounding from Route 53 all the way to I-355. So there will be no overhead lines on Boughton Road after this summer. The cost is $487,605, of which Hart's Construction, who's doing the town-owned development and retail development on Boughton Road, they will be reimbursing the village for 50%. Since they're only doing half the road, or the south side, and the other side was built some years ago, they'll be paying half of the undergrounding. Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
The next ordinance has the first ordinance has an accompanying planning commission award approval of special use permit for a plan development. I missed one? Oh. Too many undergrounds here. I forgot. Sorry, I skipped one. The next resolution is approving ComEd work for relocation of electric utilities at Rodeo Drive and King Road. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Lawler, second trustee Watts. The roundabout at Rodeo Drive and King Road is scheduled for construction this year. Again, it's the April letting of IDOT. In preparation for the construction, ComEd needs to relocate switching gear on the southwest corner and relocate one overhead pole. The cost is $65,000 and the funding is included in the project budget. This resolution approves the utility relocation agreement. The Public Service Committee has reviewed and recommends approval. Again, that's just for the roundabout at the intersection. Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Now we have an accompanying Plan Commission report, approval of special use permit for a plan development, 772 South Weber Road. Dr. Candamala, applicant. Is there a motion to accept the Plan Commission report?
So moved.
Motion trustee Morales, second trustee Jaskowitz. The Plan Commission meets and looks at every project. They make a recommendation to this board for a report to be approved. This report covers the development and any variances or anything that needs to be talked about with it. The report's before you recommending approval. Are there questions on the report? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the report and place it on file, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The report is approved. Now we have the accompanying ordinance, which takes that report and puts it in ordinance form. This is approving a special use permit for a planned development to allow a dental office at 772 South Weber Road. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion trustee Lawler, second trustee Morales. This ordinance approves a special use permit for a dental office. Dr. Candamala would like to lease 1,825 square foot of tenant space at the shops of Weber Road, what's where the Dunkin' Donuts is. The property is owned I-2 industrial. Dental offices are not permitted use in industrial districts and therefore required to get a special use permit. Plan Commission has reviewed and recommends approval. Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
The next ordinance has an accompanying Plan Commission report, approval of a special use permit for a plan development with variances, final development plan, and plat of vacation, Rich Gurn McNeil Automotive Products Limited applicant. Is there a motion to accept the Plan Commission report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Watts, seconded trustee Zarate. Again, same verbiage, the special use permit, or the Plan Commission report has reviewed the project, has issued a report recommending our acceptance and approval to be placed on file. Questions? All in favor of accepting it, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It's accepted. Now we have the accompanying ordinance approving a special use permit for a plan development variances, final development plan, and plat of vacation, McNeil Automotive Products, 501-505 South Weber Road. McNeil Automotive Products, which is the WeatherTech company, but McNeil Automotive Projects is a part of that whole operation, is required 8.85 acres of property at the southwest corner of Hassert Boulevard and Weber Road. That's the southwest corner. The company has applied for a special use permit to construct a mixed-use, multi-building project on the property. The applicant would like to build three multi-tenant buildings. The three buildings would contain approximately 109,840 square foot of space. Building 1 would be 28,670 of commercial space fronting on Weber Road. Building 2 would contain 46,890 square feet of office and light manufacturing, and Building 3 would be 34,280 square feet of office, distribution, light manufacturing. Additionally, the applicant is seeking approval of final development plan and 6 associated variances. There's also an unused easement running through the property that needs to be vacated. The Plan Commission reviewed and recommends approval. Equally as important, this is the site that backs up or fronts the soccer fields on Hassert Boulevard. One of the big issues the Park District's had, Park District's good about building facilities, but they don't like to build parking lots. They'd rather use the land for parks. I understand that. But when you build a park, you get people to come to it, and sometimes there's not sufficient parking. So consequently, parking at the soccer fields has been a problem, and we've had to deal with expanding that parking lot more than once. But David McNeil, the owner of WeatherTech, is taking the rear part of his property and building how many spaces? 52. 52. Why would you know that?
Plan Commission.
Oh, you're at the Plan Commission. Matt Cruz from Crow Holdings was at the same meeting. 52 parking spots in the back of the lot, which quite frankly is really of no value as development. He's doing it to give additional parking to the Park District. And I personally would like to acknowledge and appreciate his doing that, because those parking lots are not cheap. And he's doing it to help out the Park District. Questions?
Mayor Claire, I need a motion.
Oh, I thought we had a motion. Sure we don't have a motion?
I didn't have it.
So moved. Plan Commission.
Motion trustee Morales, second trustee Hoagland.
Thank you.
All right, questions?
Since you did mention about the soccer fields and that, and with this facility going up and that, is it going to impact safety as far as traffic goes, increasing? It's difficult now when they have those large tournaments there and stuff like that, where cars and the police are there negotiating in one lane and so on. How does that impact that, or is all the traffic going to be basically Weber and not Hassert?
I'm not sure I totally follow that question, but the reality is, police, planning all looked at it. There's an access point off of Hassert. There's also access points off Weber. And based on staff review, this development will attract considerably less traffic than what was originally planned to go there, which originally was approved to be a gas station and a fast food place, the traffic would be significantly higher. So this is a much lower traffic impact, and the staff is satisfied that there's ample precautions in place.
And the Park District gets 52 parking spots.
Lucas, you guys reviewed it in Public Works?
Yeah, we took a look at it. This development was only looking to generate, according to its traffic study, about 50 vehicles in the peak hour. A gas station, and there was actually 3 drive-thrus that were proposed, would have generated hundreds more.
So it's a much less impact on the neighborhood. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Now, I guess we have a little drum roll. These are the biggies here. This is what the public hearing was in respect to. The first ordinance is approving the annexation agreement for property commonly known as the Lambert Farm. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Lawler, second trustee Watts. This ordinance approves an annexation agreement between the landowner, developer, including the village. This is the parcel was described in the public hearing. Jim, would you make a couple of comments on an annexation agreement? We've done hundreds of them.
Annexation agreement is actually the document that the parties have entered into that spells out the obligations and the rights. This is the approval of the agreement. On the approval of the agreement, the next step will be to actually annex the property. Under the village's ordinance, when a piece of property is annexed, it comes in as our least dense zoning. So upon the next ordinance being approved, it automatically carries a zoning of estate residential. And the third ordinance will rezone that estate residential to the industrial zoning that the parties have agreed to in the annexation ordinance. So it's really a three-step process to complete the annexation.
So are there questions on the annexation agreement that was described in the public hearing? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Mayor Claire.
Yes, I rarely vote unless there's a split vote. I break the tie, but by law, I vote on annexation agreements. And it was unanimous anyway, so the annexation agreement is done. The next ordinance annexing certain territory to the village, commonly known as a Lambert Farm, consisting of 106.275 acres. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Morales, seconded trustee Zarate. Again, this annexes, brings us in the corporate limits of the village. Questions, again, described in detail during the public hearing. Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Mayor Claire.
Yes. The last ordinance that deals with this property has an accompanying planning commission report, which is the planning commission reviewed their entire development, the 4 buildings, the layout, the streets, and so on. The approval of the rezoning from estate residential to I-1 limited industrial. Arco Murray is the applicant, since they're going to be actually building the buildings. Is there a motion to accept the planning commission report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Morales, seconded trustee Zarate. Again, I've described what the plan commission report is, so it's a matter of the whole development plan of the project. Questions on the development plan? Plan commission report. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It's approved. Now, our last ordinance this evening dealing with this property, this ordinance rezones the property from I-1 limited industrial. When a property is annexed in the village, as Mr. Bones said moments ago, it comes in as the least dense zoning available, and that's ER, estate residential. This property is rezoned from ER to I-1 industrial again. It's a former Lambert Farm west of Veterans Parkway, south of Remington Boulevard. Do I have a motion on the ordinance?
Not yet.
Motion trustee Jaskowitz, second.
Second.
Trustee Lawler. Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate.
Yes.
Trustee Lawler.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz.
Yes.
I don't have to vote on that.
Not that one.
No.
Well, is there a meeting tomorrow to exchange documents? Congratulations, thank you for coming to Bolingbrook. Thank you, Lambert Farm, for, it was a very sought after. There were 16 people wanted this property. Now that shows the attractiveness of Bolingbrook for what we have got. 16 major industrial developers were competing to get this property because our location is so good. We're a pro-business community. They like the way we do business. We move things along. And you wouldn't have 16 of the biggest developers in the country vying for this property if that weren't true. And I'm very pleased that, again, we start with Trammell Crow and we end our business parks with Crow Holdings. Yes, we still have other properties in town to develop, but they're basically 1 or 2 pad sites within an existing business park. So, thank you again. Do we have the roll call? Do we have it? We did. Okay. And our last ordinance this evening is ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Village of Bolingbrook Municipal Code regarding screening of mechanical equipment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Zarate, seconded trustee Lawler. This ordinance amends Chapter 30 of the municipal code in regards to rooftop screening and mechanical equipment. The current code does not distinguish between screening requirement in different zoning districts. The mechanical units for industrial buildings are generally not visible from public view because the buildings are larger and taller than commercial buildings, typically retail buildings. This amendment waives the screening requirement for industrial buildings which are greater than 500 feet from a residentially zoned and built property. Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zarate?
Yes.
Trustee Lawler?
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
Trustee Hoagland?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Jaskowitz?
Yes.
Before we go into trustee comments, I wanted to talk a minute about, a while back, we converted from sodium Baker lights to LED street lighting, and it was a project which ComEd gave us a significant grant, actually $1,258,000, where our share was $960,000. We retrofitted the entire community with LED lights. And of course, that was all based on projected savings. And all new buildings and so forth will be built with LED lights. The initial yearly savings was electrical of $160,000, labor $126,000, material $25,000, equipment $110,000, total savings of $423,000. The original break-even was 3 years. Based on the activity so far, and I had staff prepare the cost so far of our electrical savings, we'll have this project paid off in 2.27 years. And from that point on, we'll save a significant amount of money by going to LED lighting. The contract we left with the company that converted the LED lighting gave us a 10-year warranty on lights and labor. So it's been a great project, and it actually is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and it was a 3 years payoff. It's now down to 2.27. So I just thought you might want to know that we're going green with street lights, and we'll be looking at other light fixtures and so forth throughout town. And that included Beacon Ridge and Fernwood, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we also worked with them to get the LED lighting in there. Trustee comments, reports, let's change it up a bit. Trustee Jaskowitz.
Over the last 2 election cycles, there's been uncalled for violence and vandalism directed at very specific candidates, not counting the hateful comments directed at almost all, if not all, the candidates. We have elections for our candidates so they can get out there, talk about their views, talk about their issues, and express why they think they should be representing you so they can do what's best for the community. That doesn't mean that their values or morals are any better or any less than the other candidates. It just means that they think things are differently, and they think that maybe there's a different means to the end, to the same end in many cases. But for the most part, I believe candidates and elected officials are usually pretty good people, and they do it for positive reasons, and that's to help everybody out. But elections are what makes America great. They really do. Unfortunately, politics here in our town has really become very bitter and hateful with the rhetoric and by a very select few people. That rhetoric sometimes encourages others to act out and become vigilantes, going so far as vandalizing other people's properties. Yes, I realize that vandalism happens to more than just political people, but when it happens to them, it is usually someone trying to send a message to them to get out of the race, versus I'm just here to have fun and you just happen to be my victim for the night. I don't believe it was just a coincidence when our mayor was targeted and his house was attacked, causing fear and anguish to him and his family. I do not believe it was pure coincidence when Alicia Benford was attacked, not once but at least twice over the last 2 years for her political beliefs. Now, over the last weekend, another candidate, Mary Pat Oliver, who's running for village trustee, had vandalism done to her cars after a day of campaigning. Kids, druggies, just teens out there maybe having a good time, but more than likely someone trying to send a message again. The Bolingbrook Politics page on Facebook has become a nightmare to a lot of people, including myself. And as of yesterday, I voluntarily taken myself off of that page until after the election. I usually post my summaries of the village board meetings, and that's one of the pages I put it on. I will continue to do that, but I'll just post it on that page and leave it go without comments. I would like to still post it on the Bolingbrook Friends page, but I did make a comment on there about the vandalism that took place, and it was considered political, and so I was taken off of that page, so you won't see it on there. But you can go to the Bolingbrook, Bob for Bolingbrook page or my personal page, and you'll see the village summary on there. There is absolutely nothing wrong with supporting your candidate and telling people why you're voting for them. But if they have opposition, praise the people that are running, because it takes a lot of guts to stand up there and run. Whether you oppose them or not, at least respect them for that, okay? Comments directed to Ms. Oliver on Facebook after she reported this were pretty hateful. And I think those people who said those things, you know, you really need to take a look at why you're doing that. Excuse me. To the people who think they are doing the right by reaching out and destroying property and creating an unsafe environment and neighborhoods, you are wrong. We have a great police force and a great fire department here within the village. They only can do so much without the support from the community. So I'm asking the community tonight to step up and identify the people who did this. The person who vandalized the mayor's home was caught and punished. The people who did this to Ms. Benford and Ms. Oliver have not been identified yet, and so we need to identify them, arrest them, find out what their motives were, and punish them accordingly. We do have a Crime Stopper program here. You can make reports anonymously, or feel free to call the police department. The Crime Stopper number is 630-378-4772. If you do nothing and you know something about it, that's just as bad as you being the perpetrator of the same thing. Give our police the information they need to make an arrest, okay? And the last thing is, since I already talked to you about the police and fire department, this Thursday night at the golf club, the Exchange Club in Northwell County is honoring the top firefighter and top police officer in Bolingbrook. Cost is only $25, starts at 7 o'clock. We'd encourage you to come on out and support our first responders.
Trustee Morales.
Couple of quick public service announcements given to me by our village clerk, Carol Penny. Thank you. The Community Service Council will have some Get Money Smart meetings or classes starting April 1st, Monday, April 1st, running through Thursday, April 4th. Different subjects, including meeting the home buying team, mortgage basics, understanding credit, budgeting and savings. You can call Denise Lozano at 815-886-5000, extension 1010, for more information. These will be held at the CSC of Northern Will County at 440 Quadrangle Drive here in Bolingbrook. Coffee with the Chiefs. Next one will be on April 2nd over at the Atria at River Trails, 370 North Weber Road. You can meet the chiefs and discuss any topics you might have with regards to first responders and even public services. This starts at 8 o'clock a.m. Again, it's at Atria at River Trails, 370 North Weber Road on April 2nd. And we have community mobile pantries. Would these be food trucks, I guess, right?
Food pantry.
Food pantry. I'm sorry. Food pantry. West Suburban Community Pantry will be hosting community mobile pantries in Bolingbrook every first Monday. Sorry. And this will start, next one will be April 1st at the New Hope Baptist Church, 509 East Briarcliff Road. It's April 1st at 509 East Briarcliff Road from 4 to 6. West Suburban Community Pantry. Just a quick comment on the, Bolingbrook grew tonight by a lot of land with this annexation, so that's great to hear. One of the things you mentioned, Mayor, was that there were a lot of people bidding on these properties, and that's been the case for many years now. And one of the reasons for that is because of the investment that we made a long time ago into the infrastructure of this community. We knew that it was important to have that so we can attract these world-class businesses. So when people talk about our debt, it was an investment in our community, in our infrastructure, into many roadways, into many different things that is paying off. And it's something that I think needs to be mentioned. With regards to the comments that were made earlier, I agree people need to be more civil. I remember when the mayor was attacked by the people that were running against him, saying all kinds of nasty things and mailings and so on. The same thing happened to me a few years back. People need to be more civil, but those same people need to recognize what they're saying as well, that are accusing others. So,
You make the next point about the infrastructure. Crossroads Parkway and Remington Boulevard, we built. That's part of the, quote, debt that the people are running around saying we have. That's what brought these parks to town. That's what brought WeatherTech and all those businesses, and the hospital. So-
And IKEA. IKEA came to
Oh, yeah,
town.
IKEA, the same reason. Teresa Hoagland, trustee Hoagland.
Thank you. Art Council Commission, join the Art Council, make a difference in your village, celebrate the diversity of our community with the arts. Plays, festivals, art, dance, music, and new ideas. Meetings are held the first and third Tuesday of each month at Village Hall at 7:15. To obtain an application, stop by Town Center or visit www.bolingbrook.com. It's a great commission. Arbor Day, Village of Bolingbrook Arbor Day Poster Contest, Beautification Commission. Arbor Day is going to be celebrated on Saturday, April 27th, and the contest winners will be asked to participate in the tree planting, which will take place at Champions Park at 1600 Firethorn. You can drop off your entries at Village Hall or the BRAC on Lindsay Lane or Anarino on Recreation Drive. Official rules: 2 judging categories, 7 to 10 years and 11 to 14 years. Submit an entry by deadline of April 5th, 2019 to one of the 4 drop-off points listed on the back. All entries must be original artwork created by the child. A completed entry form must be filled out with every entry. Entries may be done in marker, crayon, paints, pens, color, watercolor, ink, acrylic, colored pencils, and/or tempera paints. Collages, computer, or photo-generated art is not acceptable. The entries must be no smaller than 8.5 by 11 and no larger than 8.5 by 14. Entries must be done on paper that will allow for duplication, displaying, and framing. The poster must be related to the contest theme in some way. The theme is "Trees are terrific for all living things."
You were saying?
These words must be on the poster. All words must be spelled correctly. Entries should be entries should not be matted, mounted, or laminated, framed, or folded. This contest is limited to Bolingbrook residents only. All posters become the property of the Beautification Commission and may not be returned. This is a great event. The children really enjoy this and going out to the fire stations. Get your entry form, and you can contact the www.bolingbrook.com Beautification Commission and submit your entry deadline by April 5th. Thank you. That's all I have.
Trustee Watts.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by congratulating Michael Shea and Abdul Bayani on their appointments to the Zoning Board of Appeals Commission. I served some time on that commission, and it was a great experience. It gives you a certain perspective of transactions and things that are going on within our community. So I wish them all the best and thank them for their service in advance. Spring is in the air. How exciting. That hopefully means the weather's going to break here soon. Spring Cleanup Week, March 25th to the 29th. Cleanup Week is scheduled for the last week of March on your normal trash pickup day. It's unlimited bulk items and unlimited amounts of refuse will be picked up. But just want to clarify, this does not include electronics, construction material, or demolition debris. Those normally require a special rollout container. For electronics, you can call groups directly at 888-485-0900 to schedule a pickup. The Fire Chief L event, they're having their Firefighters Chili Cook-Off Wednesday, March 27th at 5 p.m. This is a great event. I attended last year, a lot of fun. It's the Bolingbrook firefighters will compete in a chili cook-off. There'll be sample chili entries, and you can enjoy a pint of Fire Chief L for $10. Vote for your favorite chili, 50-50 split pot. Rock Bottom Brewery, in conjunction with the Bolingbrook Firefighter Local 3005, happy to present this event. All proceeds, and this is important, are donated to the Muscular Dystrophy Association in the Bolingbrook area. So we thank the fire department for what they're doing there. Bolingbrook Car Seat Safety Class, Friday, March 29th, 12:30 to 2:30. That's going to be at Fire Station 4. That's at 1111 West Boughton Road. That's the West Suburban Community Pantry is partnering with the Bolingbrook Police and Fire Departments to educate families on car seat safety. This is good news. A free car seat will be distributed after the class, and certified car seat installers will be available to assist with installing the car seats for the attendees. So I can personally say with 4-year-old twins how important that class is. It's not just about the proper installation up front, right? But our little ones grow very fast, and so it's important that as they grow, that we make the proper adjustments to those seats. Otherwise, they can be very uncomfortable. So if you have little ones, take them up on that offer. Another sign of spring, Community Easter Egg Hunt, Saturday, April 20th. It's being hosted by the DuPage Township organization. Hop on down to DuPage Township Annual Easter Egg Hunt. Starts at 11 a.m. sharp. The event will give kids the opportunity to hunt for Easter eggs in separate groups, toddler through 6th grade. The event will take place rain or shine. Please bring your basket or bag and join in on the fun. That's taking place at 241 Canterbury Lane in Bolingbrook. You can call if you have questions at 630-759-1317. And finally, I'd like to echo the comments of my fellow trustees. No question about it. There should be no tolerance for any violence or damage to people's property as it relates to the political climate. But, you know, as we take it one step further, it's also important that we don't come out accusing people inappropriately. So it's important that we're responsible as it relates to that part of it. So it's unfortunate. We hate to see that sort of thing take place, and especially in our community. What an awesome community we have. And so, again, as was mentioned, if you know anything, please speak up so the authorities can do what they need to do to address the matter. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Watts. One thing I forgot to mention for Derby Days, besides getting your favorite outfit out there, this is the first time we're ever doing this with the Education Foundation. We've got online bidding, which is open and available right now. So if you want to see Lady Gaga in Vegas on November 2nd, or the Rolling Stones at Soldier Field, first 10 rows, the seats are in the first 10 rows. You can get your bidding going. There's plenty of other wonderful items. You go to vveef.givesmart.com, and you can participate in the bidding. It's pretty active right now, so encourage you to do that. A couple of announcements. Troop 75 Annual Chili Supper, March 30th, this Saturday from 4 to 8 p.m. at the First Presbyterian Church of DuPage, our longest church since the mid-1800s, 180 North Weber Road. And if you're missing out on March Madness, they'll have some TVs available there to eat your chili and maybe get a little indigestion from watching your team lose. So, not the chili will be good. $6 each, it's a pretty good bargain to support scouting. Early voting is going on right now, and this week, Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., across the street at Fountaindale Public Library. You can get the hours by going to fountaindale.org, but that ends on March 31st. So Sunday, March 31st, early voting ends, and on Sunday it'll be noon to 4. What else? At the high school, Bolingbrook High School, Jekyll and Hyde, I've heard some folks who've gone to that performance. That is this weekend, March 29th and 30th at 7 p.m. You can get your tickets online at showtix4u, the number 4u.com. And it is reserved seating, so it's a pretty good arrangement. Earlier tonight, we had a public safety committee meeting. And this is an open meeting, as by state law. And we had a very informative briefing from Public Safety Director Teppel regarding some contracts that are going to be coming up for renewal. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the process, because this is an open meeting. We discussed renewal of the contracts. It's an existing contract. We did our research, staff did their research and brought the findings to us and recommended that we continue with the companies. This is for wireless fire alarms and paramedic billing service. Trustee Jaskowitz suggested I make sure I mention that at the village board meeting when we go for approval, but I thought it was worth mentioning tonight that this is not a no-bid contract. This is a researched renewal of an existing contract and a very responsible research as we surveyed the surrounding towns. So, I want to make sure folks understand there are many items that were required to go for bid. You saw some of those tonight. But we also do research and do contract renewals. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Blauer. All-you-can-eat fish fry at the Nest Barn Grill. It's $14.95 every Friday, starts March 8th through April 19th. All-you-can-eat beer battered codfish and chips at the Bolingbrook Golf Club at 201 Rodeo Drive in Bolingbrook. If you'd like some more information, please call 630-771-9400. This is a good one. It's free paper shredding. It's Saturday, April 6th from 11 to 1 p.m. at Brooks Middle School, 350 Blair Lane parking lot. Bring your old personal papers to be shredded on site. Limit Limit 2 office-sized boxes per car. Residential shredding only. No commercial shredding. Shredding accepted until shred truck reaches capacity. One more. The American Legion Auxiliary Unit 1288 Second Annual Mother's Day Luncheon. Craft Show and Vendor Fair. Admission to the Craft and Vendor Show is free. Saturday, April 27th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Community Center at 201C Canterbury Lane. Advance reservations for the luncheon are requested. Please call 630-240-3907. Thank you.
That's it. There can't be anything else going on in the next 2 weeks. I did forget to ask, anybody in the audience or press have a question? Didn't mean to skip over that. I'd just like to mention a couple things about too. Yeah, there's an election coming up. Elections have gotten very ugly in this country, not just in Bolingbrook, but across the country. They become very hateful, divisive. It's just obnoxious. A lot of that's being driven the internet. Fake names like Richard Perna. People put names out there are fake. They say anything and do anything. The facts are distorted. No bid contracts, which is not correct. It's just frustrating to me that this stuff is thrown out there, and unfortunately some people believe it. So people lie about facts and figures. It goes on, candidates taking signs. Yard signs don't vote, but signs go up. People accuse each other of taking their signs. We don't take signs down. But one thing I need to tell the candidates, you're supposed to have permission to put a sign in. And just because somebody else's sign there doesn't mean that you got permission to put yours next to it. And you can't put them in a public parkway. Staff will pick those signs up. Public Works, as they drive around town, illegal signs will be picked up. So don't blame other opposition parties. Blame your staff that are putting the signs in the inappropriate places. They're illegal. This divisive nature of government is driving people out of public life. You see ballot positions go unopposed. It's because nobody wants to run. Why do you want to put your name subjected to the hateful comments you see on Facebook? It's incredible what people say. And there's no end to it. And somebody says it, and then 25 other people pile onto it. It's driving me nuts. You're probably not going to see my name on the ballot again unless it's for president of the Senior Citizen Club. And I'm not sure I want that. But folks, if you want to see good people stand up and run for public office, just say no to these people who put this stuff on the street and on the internet. Because the only people left to run are people that frankly probably shouldn't be running. It's just a problem with where we're headed. We have never ran partisan races in this town, but there's a move, Chicago-style politics, coming to Bolingbrook, trying to go partisan. If this town goes partisan politics, it will be its downfall, and you can look at a number of cities in suburban Chicago and see exactly what's happened. I don't want people to be beholden in this town to a Republican or Democrat county official, state official, or national official. I want to see people run for office here and get elected because of what they want to do as an individual that's involved and active in this community. And partisan races will bring just what I said. Partisan races take this over. Dick Durban will be calling up saying, hey, I got a friend who'd like to be the village attorney from Bolingbrook. And that group will be beholden. Or it could be to a Republican. Stay out of nonpartisan races, please. It'll destroy this town. And I can name other communities, but I don't want to slam. We'll start with Chicago. Look what goes on in Chicago. It's incredible, their political thing. The election's April 2nd. There's plenty of opportunities to vote early. You can still vote by mail. The polls are open from 6 to 7. Please get out and vote. This is a village election. The people on the ballot next Tuesday determine 100% of the tax bill. I met with 20 business people last night in Oak Brook, and I told them. And they looked at me kind of quizzically. Really? I never thought about that. But it's true. School, park, library, village, Joliet Junior College. They set 100% of your tax bill. And we expect 25% of the people to bother and vote. In Chicago, for the mayoral primary, which was hotly contested, only 35% of the people bothered to vote for that. You know, you get what you get. So, if you got an opinion on this race, get out there and vote. Support your favorite candidate, or you think the person can do the job. But just these people come to the door and say hateful things, slam the door in their face. This is not what it's about. It's about what you can do. Anybody that destroys their opponent and can't sell you on themselves probably shouldn't be a candidate. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion of trustee Morales, second of trustee Lawler. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We stand adjourned.